When Jasmine Crockett called out Donald Trump's childish tantrums on live television, he laughed at first, but when she hit him with one brutal line, his smile disappeared, and the entire studio went silent. Millions were watching that night as Donald Trump took the stage in Des Moines, Iowa, ready to dominate yet another nationally televised town hall. The topic was supposed to be about the economy, but everyone in that packed auditorium could feel it. This wasn't going to be just another policy debate. Something much bigger was brewing. Every seat was filled, the air buzzing with anticipation. Cameras from every major network lined the aisles. Reporters whispered predictions, while crowds outside chanted and waved signs, waiting for the drama they knew was coming. Inside, the air felt heavy, almost electric, the kind of tension that fills the room before something historic happens. Backstage, Representative Jasmine Crockett stood quietly, adjusting her mic. She wasn't rehearsing clever lines or dramatic gestures. She wasn't pacing nervously or checking her notes. Her only thought was simple and steady: stay calm, stay sharp, stay real. Trump's booming voice could be heard echoing from the hallway, full of showmanship and swagger. Let's give them a show tonight. And a show indeed he gave them. As the red light blinked on and the cameras started rolling, the crowd erupted in applause. Trump waved confidently, smiling wide for the cameras. Jasmine followed him onto the stage, her calm composure cutting sharply against his restless energy. The moderator welcomed them and began with a question about protests and public division. But before the question was even finished, Trump jumped in, interrupting with practiced bravado. "I've done more for this country than anyone," he declared, puffing his chest. "Nobody's handled it better than me." Half the audience clapped, half stayed quiet, unsure. The mood was awkward, thick. Jasmine didn't move. She sat still, hands folded, eyes steady. Her silence spoke louder than any applause. Then when the moment came, she leaned toward the mic and said calmly, "I think strength looks different, depending on who defines it." Trump blinked, confused. "Oh yeah, what's your definition of strength?" He challenged, his voice dripping with condescension. "Listening," she said softly. "Especially when people are hurting." The audience fell quiet. The cameras zoomed in. "Some people," she continued, "never want the truth to come out because it hurts their feelings. It's like when we call a racist. It makes them uncomfortable. But truth isn't meant to comfort, it's meant to correct." Trump laughed nervously, pretending not to be rattled, but the crack in his confidence was clear. Jasmine didn't flinch. She leaned in again, steady and sure. "You can't fix what you refuse to face, Mr. President. People weren't protesting because they hate America. They were asking it to live up to its promises." A murmur rolled through the crowd. Trump smirked, trying to recover. "Here we go with the speeches again," he said. "It's not a speech," she replied. "It's reality." Something shifted. The atmosphere in the room changed. Trump's performance energy, his usual dominance, met a wall of composure that he couldn't shake. The moderator moved to the next question, about small businesses, but Trump interrupted again, his voice sharp. "Fake news. I've done more for small businesses than any president." "Ask anyone!" He turned to the audience, demanding applause. A few clapped, unsure. Jasmine just watched him quietly. When the moderator finally invited her to respond, Trump rolled his eyes. "Oh, here we go. She'll talk. They always talk. That's all Congress does," the crowd gasped. Jasmine didn't blink. "Talking," she said clearly, "is how democracy works. It's called debate." Trump leaned forward, glaring. "You don't talk to the president like that?" Her reply came instantly. "Then perhaps the president should remember to act like one." The crowd erupted. Laughter, applause, disbelief. The moderator tried to hide a grin. For the first time that night, Trump's face turned crimson. His jaw tightened. "You think you're smart?" he barked. "You've built what? Twitter followers?" Jasmine didn't flinch. "Empires fall," she said softly. "But respect lasts." That line hit like thunder. The audience gasped. Even Trump seemed momentarily stunned. Reporters' fingers flew across keyboards, already drafting the headline, "Crockett to Trump, empires fall, respect lasts." The room had changed. The dynamic had flipped. Trump's dominance had cracked, replaced by defensive jabs and restless interruptions. He slammed his hand on the table. "You're emotional," he snapped. Jasmine smiled faintly. "No," she said. "Just human." The applause was louder this time. When Trump leaned closer and muttered, "You should be afraid," she met his eyes and replied, calm as stone, "I'm not afraid of you." Then, after a beat that felt eternal, she added, "The title doesn't make the man. The behavior does." That was it, the breaking point. The rhythm that had carried Trump through countless interviews and rallies was gone. His comeback stumbled, his tone faltered. Every word that followed sounded forced, defensive. "You people love bad news," he said bitterly. Jasmine didn't miss a beat. "It's not bad news," she said. "It's reality. And if you really listened to America, you'd know love doesn't sound like shouting." The audience exploded in applause. Reporters' phones lit up as clips of the exchange began to spread online in real time. Within minutes, hashtags were trending. By the end of the night, the story wasn't about policy anymore. It was about presence, empathy, and authenticity, the qualities you can't fake on live television. Across the country, millions replayed that moment, the one where calm truth stood up to loud power. In classrooms, coffee shops, and living rooms, people talked not about who won or lost, but about what it meant to lead with composure in the face of chaos. Because that night, Jasmine Crockett didn't just debate Donald Trump. She reminded America, and maybe the world, that strength isn't in shouting the loudest or claiming victory the fastest. It's in the courage to stay calm, to speak truth, and to refuse to bow to fear. The clip would go on to be replayed millions of times, dissected by commentators and praised by viewers of all stripes. Some called it bravery, others called it defiance. But everyone agreed on one thing: it was unforgettable. Trump had come to dominate the stage. Instead, he walked away overshadowed, not by anger, but by quiet power. And in that silence, as the applause filled the room, when truth rang louder than any headline, respect lasts longer than fear. As the lights dimmed and the credits of the broadcast began to roll, one thing became clear: that night wasn't just another clash of politicians. It was a moment of reckoning. It showed millions watching that real power isn't measured by volume or vanity, but by integrity. Jasmine Crockett didn't just stand her ground. She redefined what leadership can look like when courage meets composure. While Trump left the stage in silence, she left behind an echo, a reminder that history never remembers who shouted the loudest, only who spoke the truth when it mattered most. If this moment moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Prime Recall, where truth meets storytelling. And every story reminds us that courage still matters. And turn on notifications so you never miss the next untold moment that changed history.